Hey, Deep Red, Neurons here. I'm bringing that intro back because been a while. Number one, by while I mean like maybe four, maybe five episodes, and also because I saw somebody's Instagram post where they made like that intro as like a call out to me. And well, for today we have a guest which I will introduce in the podcast. So I'm not gonna like waste your time with that. I'm gonna preserve the suspense of giving you away the guest in the title. Um, Also, I just have realized that I'm the antithesis of a fun person, which is why some of these interviews don't go as well as I plan. Not to say that like this interview didn't go well. I quite enjoyed recording with Salva. She's a super friendly person and like she was um very cooperative and she extremely facilitating of the conversation. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm just gonna cue the fucking. There he is. So that's Craig. Craig is gonna be recording us today. This is the part that I promised myself that I'm gonna take out of the recording every time, but I don't because it
Because
makes me feel
why?
quirky.
Right, and why not?
By the way, we have a guest today. We have Salva from Rayon Mag. Would you like to introduce yourself to my audience?
Salva Mubarak. I'm a woman.
Salva runs a very popular Instagram page called Rayon Mag, and it's a satirical news outlet ish. Am I describing that right?
Yeah, I think that's too grand a description for what I do. I think it's just a fun Instagram page, and like now we have a website, and now I say we, but it's just me and my desk. We've branched out into like merchandising and stuff. So yeah, I think it's a satire, magazine, multimedia sort of a thing. Yeah.
Salva also has a podcast, which I quite enjoyed, by the way. The first three episodes is all I've checked out so far. Uh,
Thank you.
on YouTube, I've not seen it on Spotify. Is it on Spotify as well?
No, it's not. It's not. So I'm very vain. So I wanted a visual component along with the like my voice, my beautiful voice. So I thought like YouTube is the best platform to put it, so that people can see me talk while while just admiring my face.
So let's just jump into the topic that I have chosen for today. It's because I'm the supreme dictator of this podcast. Have no mistakes for children who are listening. Um, the thing we're talking about is satire in general. And for satire, as per its history, I'm just gonna go through the brief of it because I couldn't find a coherent YouTube video about it, and I actually had to go down and read on the podcast. Not and I recorded some of it for my friends. Anyway, that's not the point. Um, History basically is that it was a huge thing in Greek theater. I think Horatian satire is the one when you don't name anybody, but everybody knows who it is. And then there's Juvalian, where you name and like call out names and just like insult people in your content while criticizing them. And mostly it's political. It's a way of political commentary, but it has developed to be its own kind of art. And then over the years, every government has systematically tried to create it in bad taste or as attacking the victim. And it wasn't a very popular medium of expression up until Mark Twain took up a job in, I think, I forget the name of the newspaper, in a newspaper where he used to write satirical articles. And then he wrote like Huckleberry Finn, which was a commentary on racism, which was portraying how racist it is by portraying racism. And then it became a huge thing. And then it traveled to India. And the first record that I remember is like Pula Deshpande. I don't know. He was a like Marathi comedian, but he more or less sort of had what do you call it, the charm of the middle class life in his literature. He used to parody the cultural differences mostly, but political satire up until Jane Bhido Yaro was completely absent. And then I think Cyrus, is that his name? Cyrus Barucha,
Right,
the news
Brocha.
person.
Cyrus Brocha. Yeah. The week that wasn't. I think that's what his show is called, right?
Yeah, it was actually a like a complete ripoff of this show from the 50s and 60s in England, The Week That Was.
Right. It makes sense.
And he just took the medium and came here. And of course, there was comics in the 70s and coming into today. And today there's memes, which is sort of my area of expertise, but we'll get into that.
Right.
And now that that's done, what I really want to discuss is how satire has sort of exploded with the
Hmm.
internet.
Right.
Like, I genuinely have trouble understanding why a medium as popular as satire, even before, took up a whole new level after this. Have you heard? Have you seen Onion? Yeah.
That has been one of the inspirations for what I do. I think
Mm,
Onion and Reductress is also a pretty good example of satire and sort of parodying women's media. I think, yeah. So Reductress is like the feminine. Not it'll be reductive to call it a feminist version of the Onion, but yeah, but it's kind of like that. Yeah, so they have like sort of formed the bedrock of whatever I've built.
I think I've seen a couple of posts by them, but like I'm not sure exactly where it comes from. So I just wanted to ask, what made you make Rayon Mag? Because it's the only kind of page. It's one of its kind of page, even in news satire, because it deals with Bollywood news exclusively. So how did you come across that idea?
Like a little bit of a background, like so I used to work in this media, like only like the kind of media that I parody now. So I used to write those articles only, like 5 photos of Shahid Kapoor's beard and whatnot to make your day, right? And I did it for like a couple of years, and when I just gotten out of like my other university and stuff, and I realized that, I mean, it's pretty like cliche. Like I realize it's not fulfilling, and it's not like I don't want to be known for this. I don't want to peddle this like to people, like the kind of stuff like get toned body like Katrina's, or like get hair like Deepika's or whatnot. So so I was very like unsatisfied, and I also like other issues. I quit my job and I moved back home, and then I kind of wanted to find what I wanted to do personally, because that time I also realized that I wanted to do something for myself. Like I don't want to work under somebody, right? And at that time, so like I'm not like, like I wasn't aware of like the kind of history of like satire and the kind of significance it holds and like stuff. It was like that's always been the kind of humor that I'm drawn to ever since I was a kid. And so when I like, I can actually pinpoint the exact moment when that happened. I think when Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma, I think when they got married, and right at that moment, like when the whole country was just like hooked to the internet, like to kind of just get pictures. And then like people were getting angry that they were not getting more pictures, as if it's like their chacha's daughter getting married, and like they're not getting like WhatsApp updates about it. And they were like taking it so personally that like she chose to hold the wedding in like Italy. And so I was very fascinated by this, like kind of intense like sort of parasocial like relationship that has been built with these like celebrities. So I figured like let's do something like that. So I created a couple of posts for my personal like blog, and then like a lot of people liked it. So I was like, why not? So I started like kind of doing it, and then it just like took off, because like I mean, it was sort of like a right thing at a right time of deal, because there was nothing to kind of combat the amount of like entertainment journalism that was being force fed to like people on social media. So like it was kind of like a breather. Like I don't want to say breather or like a fresh this thing, because it makes me sound pretty pretentious, but like that, and like people related to it and people liked it, and yeah, now we're 2 years in.
What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
now it's been 2 years since I started.
Okay. I think I found your page about 8 months ago, and I don't remember what post it was, but I think it was the Kabir Singh post. Um, Kabir Singh had just come out, and it was a photo of Shahid Kapoor and a satirical article. I don't
Oh,
remember the words of it,
oh yeah,
and
yeah. I got into
that's,
trouble for that. Yeah,
you got into trouble for that.
yeah, like
Please
his.
tell us what happened.
So I don't think there's going to be any legal ramification if I talk about it. But even if it does, like I don't know. So like his
I
team
mean,
contacted. Yeah, no,
I'm
I don't.
just
No. It wasn't like anything. Yeah, because I was not in the wrong, right? So So they contacted me. They thought that it was like a legitimate news website, and we've run this article on him. And they were like, please respond with like wherever your sources and like stuff where you got. And the thing is, I don't remember it exactly, but I think the story was pretty ridiculous. Like there was no way a human being had said those words, whatever, like or whatever the story was about. And I was just
Genuinely
like,
sorry. Could you repeat yourself because we lost connection for a bit? So
oh,
just like,
okay. From like
yeah,
the
I'm sorry.
beginning of my story, or like what? So okay, so
Beginning
I'll
of the Shahid Kapoor. Yeah.
yeah, I'll start. So Shahid Kapoor's team contacted me, and they were like, they thought that it's a legitimate news website. So they asked me to cite my sources and to give them links and to give them like where I've gotten this like quote from or like whatever the news information. And the thing is that the quote was pretty like ridiculous and far fetched, and there was like no way a human being would have like said it, like and. So I was just like, listen, this is like whatever. I explained that whatever the like it's a satire, whatever, it's a parody website, and it's not true. And everybody knows that it's not true and all. So they were like, oh, but like you have to take it down. I was like, I'm not going to take it down. Like whatever, like you can't. So see, the thing is that there's no when you like put on disclaimers and you stuff that it's not real, then it's not like it's you're like kind of secure that way. I had checked like before I started, I checked with a couple of my friends that like lawyer friends, and they were like, right, yeah, so you sorted. So I yeah, so that's what I did, and then they requested me to add a little bit of disclaimer at the end, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. And yeah, and so that's the least I can do, right? I mean, the poor guy is like whatever. And so yeah, so I did that, but then just like, what a little bitch. Like, I mean, why? And not Shahid Kapoor, but like this. Well, I mean, like, you have to be exceptionally like thick in the head to not realize that you have not personally said this, right? I mean, yeah.
See, very interesting that you bring up. This is too ridiculous. Nobody could have said that
Yeah.
sort of version of it because that's sort of where I wanted to take this discussion in next. Um, because when Monty Python came out with their like movies, especially Life of Brian and what's the other one, the really popular one, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
they're basically like these old Judeo-Christian stories which like have extremely big heroes, like larger than life. A man killed fucking 10 people with one sword type of shit, and then they make fun of that because that's not true according to them. But internet sort of exposes everybody because you're on camera constantly and you can't be glamorous all the time. So like it humanizes people quite a lot. And the problem with that is that what was considered satire before is sort of repeated in reality. And now when I see a news article, I have to go Google it and see at least three sources to make sure it's true. Especially like I'm pretty sure you know the Florida Man meme.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
Too ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
too
Right. Right.
ridiculous to be true, but it's
Yeah.
completely true. Like Florida
Hmm.
Man goes to store, has a breakdown about
Right.
um not wearing a mask, then dies in a police shootout.
Right. 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 Right.
Too ridiculous to be
Yeah.
true.
But then
And
it.
I just wanted to like go into the depth of like how does it make you feel that now news copies satire?
Real life, yeah, I feel threatened, obviously. Am I going to an existential crisis every time like I see a, especially because I deal with like mostly Bollywood. Like I don't want to say I just focus on Bollywood. I do like focus primarily on Bollywood. So and like these people are not these people, but like whatever they say some like dumb stuff, right? And then one of these days, like somebody forwarded this thing to me, and they were like, "Oh, I think they're using your code." And I was just like, that's not possible. And then I checked, and it was a legitimate quote from like a celebrity. And I was just like, but how? Why would they say that? Like, that's my job. I'm supposed to make them say that. They're not supposed to. And I think, and then it's just like, yeah. So I do understand. I think it's a worrying thing that when like the lines are kind of merging. And no, and I think internet and the overexposure to like everything is like partly responsible for that, because yeah, because even like especially in the case of like I can talk about like just the like Bollywood like aspect of it, because I think they don't not all the time. That I think they're guarded by the like the PR machinery and the kind of like the stuff that they do. So they do stay like whatever is in their head, and sometimes that is stupid. That might not be like whatever politically correct or non-problematic. So yeah, we do get these weird gems of like yeah.
Speaking of that, I just want to ask, like, this is an off-topic question, but I know I'll forget it by the end. Uh, One of the like side products is that Bollywood still believes its glamour is intact. It's very clear to me, especially when they try to be relatable on their social media.
No,
And
100%.
I'm like, you're not like that. That's
Yeah, yeah,
that's not
yeah.
you. So I just want to ask, like, if you follow any of them or like know of anybody's Instagram, and like if what's the most cringe that you remember out of these Bollywood people?
Right off, like immediately when you said cringe, do you remember the Ritesh Deshmukh video that came out? I like very recently. I mean, it was pretty sad. Like, I mean, I don't think we should laugh over, but I think he made this TikTok on his father's death anniversary, and it was like yeah, I think there was yeah, I think it had the opposite reaction of what he was expecting because he made this like very dramatic kind of like there was this very dramatic emotional song playing in the background and he had like his father's jacket and then like he had somebody pretend to be his father like from just like this side and then like have him hug from like one arm. It like it's I think you should watch. I shouldn't spoil it for you. I think you should watch it for yourself and see. I think that was one of the like worst thing that I've seen and like yeah we literally like live in 2020 and like every day is like the worst but that was still like that's still one of the top terrible things that I've seen on the celebrity social media. But yeah, I guess. And like also like anytime yeah as you said like anytime they like they attempt to be relatable when you know for a fact that like that is not true. But again like just to kind of counter that, I think like we know that it's not real. I think we, as in, I'm not saying we, I think just like a very small population of their audience, I think knows that it's not real, but it does work because a lot of their fans, a lot of like millions and millions of fans, they do buy into that. They do buy that, celebrities are just like us and like, they do wash their own dishes and they whatever, they like, cook their own food and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it works.
I kind of wonder why though, because one of the best things that internet did for me is like it completely debunked religion in every way possible, and it also taught me that nothing is worth worshipping. I see at least the celebrity culture in India. I would I would be lying if I said I don't see it as worship.
It is, yeah, but it's
Y-
yeah, but I again like that's the thing about faith, right? I mean, again, it's like or like overly simplifying the whole concept because like I am a very deeply religious person. Like just to like disclaimer, and I don't mind like whatever like discussions and stuff. I'm okay with that because like I'm like a to each his own type of a person. Like I believe you might not believe it's fine. But as far as like faith is concerned, like as far as like Bollywood celebrities and like maybe like cricket also comes into our whenever like in this context like cricket also comes. I think it's what I think it's just what like people like need. I think in their lives, I think some people need that in their lives to kind of have that thing to latch on to kind of have that ideal, to kind of have that ideal to like kind of live up to, or maybe like just to aspire to be. And I think that's fine. I think as long as it's not crossing any harmful boundaries or like kind of like veering into a obsession and like kind of for that category, then I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have something to kind of have that faith in, like okay, so I like maybe like whatever Shah Rukh Khan is like that, or maybe like whatever Katrina Kaif is like that. Maybe just a very stupid example, but like maybe. So I think it's fine. I think we are all very like isolated and lonely people, like generally. So I think if we have something, if we do find something relatable like that, and I think it's fine. I guess maybe it might not be for you or me, but it might be for somebody else. Different lived experiences, right?
It's fine in this like most of worship is fine by me if it doesn't hurt anybody. I'm like, do whatever you want. You have free time. But with celebrity worship, the reason it bothers me, especially in that circle, is because one, these people are humans. Two, this is inauthentic. Three, because it actually has a lot of resources involved. These people create and control a very big monopoly over an artistic industry. And that's where, like, when money gets involved, I start to have serious doubts and serious problems, especially with
100%.
especially with the number of chances Tiger Shroff gets to like
Oh
launch
yeah,
his
for
career.
sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. See, that's the thing, right? I mean, on paper, I think it's fine, like you just think, but the reality is not that rosy, right? I mean, obviously, like and obviously, what we see is not actually the truth. It's very manufactured. Like even, suppose even if like I think the celebrities started breaking it down, like the kind of work that goes into even like I'm talking about the like the beauty aspect of it, like the physical aspect, aesthetics. I think they kind of started breaking down that what like the amount of money and the amount of like effort and the time it takes and the team it takes to kind of build that. So I think I think we've started kind of realizing that it's not as like glossy as it seems. There are certain layers, but I completely agree with your this thing that whenever like money gets involved, even in like hardcore religion, whenever like money comes into play, that's where things go wrong. I mean, as long as it's like faith and like your beliefs and like that kind of like basic core principles, I think then like then it's fine. But when money and when power and then that struggle comes, then like and that's true for like celebrity worship here also. And I don't even think like I mean, do you really think Tiger Shroff has that many fans like in this country? I mean, really, like
Uh, Usually, I couldn't have cared about Tiger Shroff, but I know you know this person because you were on a podcast with both of them, Karan.
yeah, right, right, right.
So
Yeah.
one of the running jokes on that is like Karan is in love with Tiger Shroff, is why all of us are highly invested in his life and like his career. So we went to watch Bagi 3,
Okay.
and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. We anticipated the movie to flop.
Right. Yeah.
Then we saw the box office collection.
It did pretty well. Yeah.
It did amazingly well. I think it made a lot more money than Gully Boy, which
Figures.
even though is not my favorite movie in the world, it is a lot better.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe there are fans. Like maybe I'm wrong, and there are like Tiger Shroff fans like around. And I do want like so that's the thing, right? I mean, even like people who are like Tiger Shroff is a manufactured reality. He might like the kind of
Hmm.
people who follow him, they might not know like whatever like him. They just know his like persona that has been fed to them, right? And with the like machinery which involves entertainment media and like whatever his team and stuff like that. So yeah, I think everything. Yeah, I think everything is fake.
I think I sort of bring perspective to this from like where I grew up,
Mhm.
because I know the like at least all my friends are city children. I'm the only one who's like grown up in a smaller town.
Right.
I just don't think that people have seen celebrity worship at the level I came to see around my adolescence, because I think there was a fist fight at some point in my school because Shah Rukh Khan got called something. Yeah, I'm not.
I
It wasn't even a serious comment. Something about his nose being not straight or something like that, and then actual nosebleeds were involved.
listen. Like I completely agree that that happens because not like a very proud moment for me, but like a while ago, I was that person. So I used to be like a big Shah Rukh Khan fan. Like now, I hate
Hmm.
everybody. Now I'm just like over everything. But like a while back when I was in school and whatever, I was a big like Shah Rukh Khan fan, and one of my friends was a big Salman Khan fan. So like it was a thing that like even if like she didn't mean it, but she would say things to like kind of diss Shah Rukh Khan, and I would say things to diss Salman Khan, which was not very difficult. There were so many. But yeah, and then I used to get like really angry, and then used to get like we used to get in like real fights, and we won't talk to each other for like months because like she said something about Shah Rukh Khan. Like who cares? Like he probably doesn't. Probably as if like he does actually doesn't know that I exist, right? And here I was fighting with my best friend about like uh, whatever his movie choices and whatnot. So yeah, so I kind of have seen that mindset. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm a survivor.
Okay. I think we exhausted all the things I had written down, and now I have one call out question for you.
Yes. What is?
Where did you come up with what does Varun Dhawan smells like?
always wondered. It's weird. People think that I'm joking, but I want to know what he smells like.
Why are you making me think about this?
I just want to know. That's it. It's just a thing that I don't think it has any purpose. I don't think it will solve anything. But I just want to know what do you smell like?
No, it's fine. It just I have to know. I think there has to be a better background story than that because ever since I heard that episode, that's all I've been thinking about. What does Varun Dhawan smell like? And I'm like, I have more important shit than this. I have an assignment due in 24 hours. Like,
I am sorry to disappoint you, but that's literally it. So I just literally, it's not even like fun, like I'm not even making this up. I woke up and I was just like, what does Varun smell like? And yeah, and then like it kind of led me into a kind of rabbit hole of like, what does Ranveer Singh smells like? But then like Varun Dhawan started it also. That's like one of and I've still not found the answer. So like, bring it out there in the universe.
um, I think it's a mixture of a Being Human T-shirt and very distilled WWE wrestler sweat.
Yeah, yeah, that's smart. I don't know what a Being Human T-shirt smells like, but I think like it smells like hyper-masculinity. I guess.
No, it smells like a bad driver
Oh yeah, makes sense.
apology.
Makes sense. And
Yeah.
like yeah, topical.
And what else did I had written down for this episode? Dear God, I keep my notes everywhere. Uh, Beyond that, I generally have to ask you, what's your favorite satirical work beyond this, like movie-wise or series-wise?
It's it's actually very stupid. Like it's not actually satirical. It's actually a parody. This thing, and it's always stuck with me. It's a very very stupid example. It's actually a very stupid. But it was so funny to me when I like read it. There was this when Da Vinci Code came out and it was a big deal. So there was this parody book that came out called Da Vinci Cod, like cod as in the fish. And it was a book. It was like a proper like book, and I died laughing while reading it. It was very stupid. It was very silly, but yeah. So I think I don't know. It's a very like bad example for it, but that's something that I always recommend to people to kind of understand like where I come from, because that's the kind of stuff that I like immediately I find myself like yes, like that's the yeah. It was very stupid.
Is it still like around the story of Robert Langdon, or like
Yeah,
is it
yeah. No.
completely okay?
It was, and I think it was like the like whatever Templars were involved, and like there was a mystery. There was proper like like chase and stuff. And Robert Langdon was like a fraud in that like book, and he was like a really really like unlikable guy who like deserved to be punched in the face, and that's how he was described, that he has a highly punchable face. And yeah, it was just like it's very funny. Like if you can get a copy and just read it, it's like you will judge me for sure, but like yeah, it'll be a treat.
That's okay. I publicly like associate myself with all kinds of cringe,
Yeah,
so
Da Vinci
it's
Code.
fine. Da Vinci Code. I've written it down, and I can't find it on Google though. For some reason,
Yeah,
it just
was it?
yeah, it just
Did I dream it up? What? Was it a
is your
figment?
life Shutter Island?
Was it a figment of my imagination? I need answers. But
Uh,
yeah.
I have to like going back to the thread that we were exploring before of like satire sort of mimicking news sort of mimicking satire.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting connections my brain seems to make is that what if it happens in two layers? Like, what if it happens that a movie is mimicking real life, and then and then that movie gets mimicked by another? Did it mimic the reality or did it mimic the movie?
I think you need to explain yourself a little bit more.
For example,
Give
like
me
Nayak.
examples.
Like
Yeah.
Nayak.
Yeah.
Nayak is actually is inspired by the time. What's her name? Uh, Rambini Devi, something like that. A lady in Bihar who was made prime minister overnight,
Okay.
over like something similar
Acha.
by the order of the sitting CM,
Right.
and like as acting CM, and then another one when the bypass surgery was happening for the CM of Andhra Pradesh, I think
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
NT
Yeah.
Rao.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar shit happened. Then that
Right.
sort of inspired Nayak to be made.
Hmm.
but it was a semi-serious movie. I say
Right.
semi-serious because that scene with the snakes.
I think I maybe to just give it, I'm more like, kinder like that, but I think they were pretty self-aware what they were doing. I think they were in on the joke. I think.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's a good movie. It's still like
Yeah.
it stands, to be honest.
Right.
Some parts of it suck because like you're looking at it in 2020.
Yeah.
Uh, but after that, Arvind Kejriwal decided I'm gonna parody that,
Hmm.
minus the results, of course.
Minus
So,
the charisma of Shivaji Rao.
and I feel like that's sort of why Simpsons get caught in this ridiculous
Yeah,
prediction
that's
theory.
conspiracy theory. That yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think yeah, I think that might be true. I think you might be onto something. Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, what did it mimic in the end? Because did reality mimic Simpsons? Because Simpsons was just mimicking reality. So was
Hmm.
reality mimicking reality, or was reality being mimicked by was satire being mimicked by reality?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give a very basic bitch answer. I think like we put that out in the universe. I think it manifested itself. I think like Simpsons put it out.
No,
I mean, it's called a basic bitch on your podcast, so you will get like basic bitch answers.
I I thought Simpsons was parodying like Ronald Reagan's Run
Hmm.
because he
It's
was
all it's all a cycle. It's all a cycle. It's
yeah,
all
yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
cycle of manifestation. Yeah.
I
Whatever
think
that
that's it.
means.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I had for today. Thank you so much for doing this. Well, I should probably let you guys know that I did a boo boo on the podcast, like while we were recording it. I could not find the Life of Cod book. It is available on Amazon. Salva sent me a link after the podcast was done, or during the podcast. I didn't check my phone during, but she definitely found the book and she sent it to me. So it is real. That's not a Shutter Island moment. That's not a glitch in the Matrix. That's what it is. And well, Salva was extremely fun and extremely kind to do this podcast with me and bearing with me for 30 straight minutes. So please go check out Rayon Mag on Instagram and check out her YouTube podcast. I'm 4 episodes in. It's quite nice. I enjoy her content quite a lot. Like, share, subscribe. If you're new here, please share and subscribe. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, or Google Podcasts because people keep forgetting that I'm available on all platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, it's there, plus YouTube. That's sort of the deal. And thank you to everybody who bought the merch. If I could take all of your names, I would, but it would take me another 2 minutes to do that. So I'm not gonna. Also, I respect some of your privacies. I don't think you're a regular listener that would like to be outed, to be known to the rest of the public that you listen to this podcast. And thank you to Patreon supporters. And I mean, one Patreon supporter. Currently, everybody else has a on and off PayPal support thing going on, which I appreciate also. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast so far. And if you think the content is worth it and you're not supporting us on Patreon or PayPal already, consider it, I guess. And thank you. See you next time.